All right, so I've been going back and looking at some of the comments on my YouTube channel, and people have been essentially asking me, well, I can't seem to cut through the band, I can't seem to get through the band, or I can't scream, or I have trouble getting into this vocal fry thing that you keep talking about, or I have trouble getting into gravel or stream itself. Well, the thing that I would say about that is that if you're having trouble screaming, it could be one of two things. It could be that your foundational sound, just your singing voice, is in the wrong spot. Now, that's 99% of the time. The other thing is that you could be just screaming wrong. But I find that when people learn to scream the right way, everything tends to open up, or sing the right way. When people learn to sing the right way, all the screaming and all the different sounds that you're trying to make, all the styles of singing that you're trying to do tend to open up. And so I've been experimenting with a lot of different things, because I listen to some of these rock singers, and the one thing that you can never really know about any of these rock singers is how loud they're actually singing. That's the one thing that you're always kind of guessing, unless you're sitting there with them, you never really know. But I'm starting to find that a lot of them are kind of going and leaning towards the more quiet side. And so what I would say is that there's two things that you want to do if you're having trouble screaming, if you're having trouble getting the vocal fry in. The first thing is that you want to thin the chords out more, okay? That's the first thing. So what do I mean by thinning the chords? This is an actual physical thinning of the chords, okay? So you're actually going to thin them. You're actually going to make them smaller physically. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, now you're not exactly going to sing in that particular position. I'm resonating it like right in like the front of the hard palate. Okay, so if I take it more towards the back of the head a little bit, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to feel a little bit different, but the sound will be a little bit better. And then if I take it through a nay, okay, it starts to really open up. Yeah! Okay, and that's really where the upper register is going to start to resonate. Okay, and it does take some glottal compression as well, but I'm singing on a much smaller point, and that's going to allow for the rasp to come through. Yeah! Yeah! Okay, now I'm not warmed up, so my voice sounds kind of raunchy right now. Hey, yeah! Okay, but with the fry scream, that's where you're going to get it in there, okay? It's much smaller, and I almost find that the thinness of the chords has to be smaller than the size of the vocal fry. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you go like this, there's a certain size you can feel in there. It's a certain feeling. So if you're right there, okay, I mean, it's like kind of like Nirvana. Married, buried, yeah. And that's where he's singing. That's where he's singing, by the way. People are asking me this on my how to sing like Kurt Cobain video. Okay, that's where he's doing it. Now I've got to warm up to really be able to truly get into it. But the other thing that you can do that makes it easier is simply pulling back on the volume. Sometimes people are singing with far too much volume, and that's going to strain the chords, and then it's really tough to add that stuff in there. And it seems to be that most people, they're lighter in their upper register anyways, because that's an undeveloped register, okay? They've never tried to sing in it before. They don't really know what's going on up there, and so they kind of go like, they do this stuff when they're first learning, and they tend to be able to get that vocal fry in there when they first learn to do the pharyngeal. So I tell them, you got to get into the reinforced falsetto up there. Let's see if we can do that, and then we're going to try and either A, bring that down, or B, develop it from the lower end and bring it up. Either way works, really. Developing it from the lower end is much more effective. I like to develop it in the speaking voice itself, so that I do that through just this simple exercise. And this is what I do to warm up. When I'm trying to warm up before I start doing exercises, this is one of the exercises that I do. Let me just say that I do this as well, because I don't want anybody to hurt their voice. I do 5 minutes of lip bubbles, just speaking level. So it's like, well, I do tongue trills, because lip bubbles make my nose feel weird. But it's just, okay? Doesn't really matter what the note is. somewhere within the speaking register. And I'll do that for 5 minutes. I'll do the same thing with hums. Okay, I don't want to get into the call register. So as soon as I feel like I have to increase volume a little bit to hit the note, then I start going back down. And I can go as low or as I really want to until it starts hitting like vocal fry type stuff. I do that. Then I go into this exercise to develop the pharyngeal, the little thin cut, in my speaking voice, which I think is really the placement that you should always be singing from. You always want to sing from your speaking voice, okay? So that's going to be this. I'll do that for 5 minutes as well, and I go all the way down to the vocal fry, and I'm going just into where the call register starts, and then I'm bridging that down through the call register. And you'll find that if you practice that exercise, that going back up through into the upper register is pretty easy, because that's the exact placement that you want to have. Okay, but that is what you need to be doing in thinning it out. And also, when you learn to sing from the speaking level, you don't have to increase volume anymore, because you've already got that thin cut. And I urge people to do those 3 things, okay? And then go and try to sing. Just go sing right away. And what I usually do is I do sirens going all the way through to the top of my range, and then go all the way back down, just going through the middle voice there. Do that and then see how your voice actually sounds. I'm willing to bet that you're going to have the best tone that you've ever had. Now, the secret to all that is to still sing from where you speak. You want to make sure, like it's like you had a line of the resonance, of the sound resonance going into the like the placement, okay, of where you're placing the voice. Let me show you what I mean. So it's like, you want to be where you speak from. For the most part. I'm still getting over a cold right here, guys, so just be so it might be a little bit difficult for me to show you all this stuff. Yeah, you want to get it about where you speak, which will be right in the middle, okay? But it's not out. It's not out of the mouth. That's going to cause problems for you, okay? That's going to be the forward production method, which is very popular these days. And a lot of opera singers sing with that because they need to create a lot of volume to get over the orchestra, okay? It's a different technique. Even then, they still try to resonate the voice back here. They try to resonate it way back, okay? That's where they're getting that deeper sound, is because they are resonating it back, and then they try and use the mouth in the embouchure. My jaw's too messed up to even do it, to try and get the sound to go out a little bit more as well. But let me show you what I mean. So if I'm resonating right here, it's gonna be like, and right there I'm kind of in the heart, on the soft palate, and notice how the mouth, jaw, whatever, it doesn't do anything. You don't, and when I'm going further back, I'm modifying the vowel towards an to some degree, okay? So you're gonna change the vowel ever so slightly, but what I've found is that the quieter that you are when you're doing this stuff, the more that you can build it into a pure vowel. And so I've actually been working the a vowel through the entire register, just and that's because I'm sick. But that's what I've been working on a lot of, and I find that really works well for screaming. Now we've been talking about screaming, okay, in this Kurt Cobain video, which is kind of just a video reply to it to some degree. If you think about it, like there's like there's kind of the high scream where people do the high scream, you know, it's through an and so if you're going to sing an upper register note, trying to do it like Kurt Cobain, well, that's where he's doing it, because he's trying to give you that kind of that screaming, singing sound somewhere in between all that, and people completely misinterpret how thin it is that he's actually singing. When you see these singers with their mouth wide open and they're screaming this, you know, kind of stuff. I mean, Randy Blythe does a great job of it. I'm not very good at doing that stuff. They're resonating it really far forward, which is why the cheeks are up and the mouth is, you know, the mouth is open pretty wide. But when you're singing it, you can just do an vowel. You're in the mask, the cheeks are up, okay? It's going to be a little bit brighter sound, that, you know, it's the smile. I bring the eyebrows up because it kind of helps me bring the soft palate up as well. And you're only ever so slightly forward. It's got to be bright. It's not, okay, it's, yeah! In fact, I'm actually towards an a little bit on that, okay? Now, I'm doing this while I'm coming off of a cold. I actually feel pretty good right now. I'm towards the end of it. Been hacking up stuff all week, and in fact, I forgot that I had a cold. So much so I go to sing. I'm like, what happened? I lost my voice. No. But anyways, that's it, guys. And if you're wondering what I'm going to be doing here in the future and why there haven't been as much videos, well, I've been traveling around, and so there's not going to be a whole lot of videos for right now. But I'm thinking in probably a couple of months I'm going to get back to it, and so just hang in there, and we'll get back to teaching as well. I haven't really been doing much lessons lately either. Mainly just if I do a lesson, I'm just doing it through Skype, sitting here. And anyways, that's pretty much it, guys. Take it easy.